Hello YouTube and welcome to this edition of Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. I'm Ronnie Humphrey. I greatly appreciate you joining us today. Well, it's May the 7th, my 23rd wedding anniversary, and I'm out here in the shop doing work like a good man should be, right? But we got a special show for you today. We're going to take the Super Modified out on its maiden journey. So stay tuned. Well, I did a little work on the car yesterday afternoon after work and got the transmission grease swapped out, checked the rear end grease. We got a little bit of leak in the torque tube here, but that's kind of common. It's not a big deal in these things. Probably going to take this drive shaft out. What I did, I just put a loose fitting rag on there for now because we're just going to drive it just a little bit. But we either have a seal either in the back or the front. We need to, it's car set up so long, it's probably just dry rotted. Got the belly pan cleaned up, and you can see our heel riser there now, a lot better. But really the next thing is got to swap a couple tires around, and got to finish the battery box up. Our last episode, we didn't get that finished up, and this is the type of clip I bought for it, and that'll be fine. So we'll get that down here in a minute and see if we can get started on some of the stuff and get it wrapped up and see if we can take this thing out through the yard, see if it'll run. We got our cover off the battery, and this is the latch we're going to use. We have to mount this in first, and we'll run the rivets from the back side so the head of the rivet will be flush against the battery so the tail of the rivet doesn't rub against the battery. And we'll get this in, then we'll install it, and we'll figure out where the bottom part of the latch needs to go. So let's get this in here first. Little blind rivets came in really nice in this situation. You can see they're almost basically flush, so that won't hurt the battery at all. All right, we got the car up. We're going to slide this thing in here, hopefully get it in. Everything on this car is a tight fit. All right, so you see there, that's where we'll go. We've just got to measure now where we're going to put this bottom part. I need to go and put the bolts in it and make sure it's lined up first in the front. So let me get that done real quick. Then we'll come back and lay this other piece up here. Okay, now that we got the base marked, we'll get this back off, set the battery out of it. And we'll drill the holes. Everything is so tight on this car. Now we're going to get my buddy Mr. John here to hold this up on the back side. Okay, goodness gracious. All right, this is a moment of truth to see if this thing fits right. How about that? We'll just put a clip in there to hold it still. Okay, get our battery cables hooked back up. I got to change a couple tires around, and we'll see if we can take this thing for a little spin. All right, we got the clip in. You see how much we had to cut off. This is what the original line was. Got our battery posts or battery terminals, battery cables connected. We got this side bolted back in, solid as a rock, so we're good to go. So now we will go ahead and move to our tire deal and now swap out a couple tires, and we'll see if we can maybe crank this thing up and drive it. Okay, I got My buddy John's holding up the floor pan, so we're gonna try to get these Zeus buttons in. All right. Okay, got the car down on the ground, and I don't like the way this left rear keeper plate went on the axle. I'm gonna do a little check on that, but just to drive it around here locally, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna swap out this right rear. I think the car needs more stagger. That tire was wore out anyway. This is one of the extras I got. This is how old it is. McCrary, when's the last time you seen McCrary? But again, for what we're doing now, it'll be fine. I got some better tires coming from some sprint car buddies of mine. We'll see if we can get this thing thrown on here. All right, this is the first time I'm gonna try to drive this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and put my seatbelt on. My son was did a test drive in a car one time, and he got a real bad wreck because the drive shaft came apart. Okay, first thing we'll do, we're just gonna crank it up. Just see if it'll move, get the clutch, and see what happens. Okay.
Testing.
That's going to be a blast to drive. That's all I can say. We'll get back in the shop. We'll talk to you in a minute. Well, how cool was that? Getting to take the 1975 Bob Trossel Super Modified around my little go-kart track. No, it was a lot of fun. I just want to see how the clutch and all worked, and it works fine. A little touchy right there when it gets ready to engage all the way, but it was a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so, and thanks to all of you who have subscribed. I greatly appreciate it. Tell your friends and your family and your neighbors and your ex-wives and your enemies and everybody about the channel. We need to grow this thing, okay? I'd greatly appreciate that. Have a fantastic rest of your day. God bless you. We'll see you next time on Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. You take care.